Hi, this is Coach Laurie from Let's Talk Tuesday, and I'm so proud and happy to have a wonderful, dynamic person, woman, just great person, Miss Cardethia Moore-Jenkins. Thank you for coming, Miss Jenkins.
Thank you for having me. I'm so glad to be here.
Thank you. I know, and I appreciate you giving me some time in your very busy schedule, and I appreciate that time. So thank you very much for showing up.
Oh, no problem at all. Anything for my girl.
Thank you. So let's get started. Can you just tell us a little bit about yourself, please?
Sure. So my name is Cardethia Moore-Jenkins. I know that's a mouthful for a name. My name actually is Greek and it means the heart of God. I didn't learn that, Lori. I don't know if you know this. I didn't learn the meaning of my name until I was a senior in high school.
Really?
And it took someone in my homeroom class at Doherty to tell me to break down the meaning of my name. And it means the heart of God. Yep. So,
did your mother? She must have known.
No, they did not know the meaning of my name when they chose it. So when my mom heard it, she loved it even more.
Yeah.
So Cardethia is my name, but most people know me as Dee Dee. I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan, but I was raised in Worcester, Massachusetts, and I've been here ever since. I am a mom. I have one child, and I am a grandma too, of a little girl who's now 9 years old. So I'm thrilled about that. And like many people, busy working and just trying to keep my head above water, but also trying to make a difference in the world. We all came here with some type of purpose. And so I'm also trying to execute whatever it is that God's plan and purpose for my life, which is really about serving other people. So that's a little bit about me.
Yes, it is. And I think the reason that we call you Dee Dee is because we didn't know how to say Cardethia.
That's exactly right.
Because we kept messing it up. We're like, no, we're just going to call her Dee Dee. It's safe. I know. I used to try like, Cardethia. He's like, we got to work on that. People
my grandmother gave me that name. She didn't like it. My mom's mom. She didn't like it. She said it was a big name for a little girl. And it was a big name. To learn how to spell that, do you know how hard it was? And letters in the right order, it was hard. So my grandmother gave me the nickname Dee Dee, and that's what stuck.
That's what stuck.
Yeah.
But it's a big name, but they gave it to the right person because you filled that name totally.
I think so. I think I had to grow into it for sure.
Good. I know you told me that you're busy. I know you do a lot of things, but can you just be more specific? What do you do in the community?
Oh boy. So, in the community right now, I'm not doing a whole lot. Mainly, that's not necessarily work related. I'm trying to do some consulting work as agencies or individuals need me. They'll call on me for just to run some ideas, issues, help with maybe some problem solving, maybe some developing trainings for their staff, some ideas, or pinpointing some gaps or areas where there's some needs. Sometimes people will call me and ask me for my point of view. And then the other thing that happens, which is really on a very low key, is that I call my Facebook Messenger. I call it my the inbox ministry. Because many times people will hit me up in my inbox and they have a question about childcare, where to find it, issues with teenagers, how to access resources, homelessness, food, prayer, interacting with the child welfare system, who to call about this, that, or the third. So I feel like I have this ministry that takes place behind the scenes that's just between me and the individual who reaches out to me, and trying to connect them with the information or the people or services that they need to be connected with. So that's primarily what I'm doing right now. It's really behind the scenes, but it's all good.
It's all good. And speaking of the word ministry, if I'm not mistaken, you're an ordained minister, yes?
So not ordained yet,
Okay.
but I've been a minister for about 6 years, and that's an area of my life that is still developing.
Mm-hmm.
Lately, particularly this year, I've been called to do a lot of ministry stuff. Unfortunately, a lot of it has been around death and dying.
Mm-hmm.
People have been calling on me and my mom as well. We kind of go together. We're a package deal.
Mm-hmm.
To go out to pray with people, end of life, um, and also doing funeral services, and just kind of being as a support for the family and during their time of loss and need. So we've been doing a lot of that kind of stuff lately, particularly in the last few years since COVID started.
Thank you. Could you expound a little bit of what led you to go into ministry?
It was not my desire. It was not my desire to go into ministry. Because to be honest, I never thought that I was good enough. I never thought that I had what it took and what my understanding of being a minister was. I thought that, why would God choose me, you know? And so what happened was, over a period of years, people kept speaking that into my life, that you have a call on your life. Stop running from the call on your life. You have a call. This is what you're going to be. This is what you're going to be. This is what God is calling you to do. And I would hear it, and I would have these mix of emotions between being elated, but then also like, but I'm not worthy. I'm not holy enough. I'm not completely healed. I'm not this. All I thought about was what I wasn't. However, as time has gone on, and I've had to realize that even men and women in the Bible, there was nobody that was perfect, right? But people were still used by God. David, Solomon, on and on and on. You don't have to be perfect to be a servant of God. That's not what he's looking for. He's looking for willingness and a heart to serve, a heart to be a healer, a heart to be there when people need you, and to share the good news, right? The gospel. And so I still don't feel like I'm worthy, but I'm much more agreeable now in terms of the call comes and I respond. The call comes, the message comes, and I respond. And I realize that ministry is so much more, so far beyond the pulpit, you know, that is outside of those four walls, that where people need someone to rely on, to call, to pray with them, to pray for them. And so because of that, I enjoy it. And now I've calmed down a little bit. I still don't feel necessarily worthy, but I'm still willing. I have the heart to do what God has called me to do.
Thank you. Thank you for mentioning the concept of ministry within the pulpit, because when people hear that, I think we only think of those four walls in that genre. The ministry is almost everything else but that kind of sense, isn't it? It's more
in addition to that.
Yeah, it's a whole much bigger field than that. And I think people get stuck in our minds and how we're just in that places where that's supposed to be, and you feel like you're not enough that way. But you're right, as you look at your life and do the things, you're more than worthy enough to between the only thing you've gone through and come to the other side. Because when you share your story, that's actually a little ministry, because it's coming from you and you can share it. Yes, it is. What are you most passionate about?
Passionate about my family. Of course, above that is, about serving God. And I love worshiping. I love singing. I sing. I'm not a singer, but I sing. And I love worshiping. So, serving God, I'm, absolutely first. My family is underneath. It comes next. And then after that is probably the work that I do, whether it's in the community or ministry or in my career. Because as a social worker, the ability to help, but also the ability to teach. Teaching is probably my next, probably underneath all of that, would be teaching. Love it, love it, love it.
Love it. Now, I do know most people know you by Waist Beads by Cardethia. Can you tell me how that came about?
Sure. So Waist Beads by Cardethia came about probably 10 or 11 years ago when I was working with a friend that we know, Efwa Dufu, who is the creator of, it was Elite Promotions at the time. And so I joined her team and we were doing fashion shows and Poetry Cove at the time. And while we were working on the production of a fashion show, I saw these models with these beads on their waist. And I was like, I know they must have been like, why is this woman staring at us? How they're changing their clothes, but I happened to notice the beads. I had never seen them before. And so I started asking about them and started learning because, you know, they're underneath our clothes. So it's not something you normally would see.
Right.
And so I just became fascinated with them. I want one. I got to have one. Eventually got one. And I decided that I wanted to make them. So I started making them for myself and for family members and for friends. And finally, someone was like, you should sell them. That was never part of the plan. It was just something to do. I needed something to do with my creative energy, and that worked for me. And so I sold my first one for like $5. And it was a big deal that I sold it. And then it just kind of took off from there. I started doing more research about them and learning about the various cultures that include waist beads in them and why women wear them, and learning about the various colors. I don't get into the stones as much unless someone specifically asks me something, you know, for me to use specific stones. And then from the waist beads, I then just kind of went into bracelets and anklets, and most recently, the necklaces that I started probably in 2020 during the pandemic is when I debuted the necklaces. So I've been going pretty strong for about 10 or 11 years now. So
thank you. Because I saw that and I said, I have to ask that question because I know most people, and I said, I forgot to ask it. So I will make sure I put that in there.
Yeah, it's been around a long time.
It has. What would you tell your younger self?
Oh, so many things.
Okay, give us 3.
Give you 3. Oh my goodness. Okay. Oh my goodness. You are enough. You are enough. You are enough. / this is still number 1. You are good enough. / you are smart enough. That's all number 1.
Okay.
Number 2 would be put yourself first. And then number 3, wow. Don't settle.
Thank you. Those are beautiful. Absolutely.
Don't settle. Don't settle for less than you deserve. And to keep your expectations high. And I have to remind myself of that every day. To don't settle. And it's hard to even grasp that concept even now, because we're like, well, what if that thing or that person, what if that could be the... Don't settle. Don't settle. Keep your expectations high. You're not looking for perfection. You're just looking for the person and the situation, the job, whatever, the project, whatever it is that is worthy of you and that adds to you. and doesn't take away from you.
Yes.
When I am teaching, sometimes doing individual counseling, I will give people an assignment, make 4 boxes, and put using math, facts, add, subtract, multiply, and divide.
Ooh.
You may want to use this, Coach Laurie.
Yes,
And
yes, sir.
Because it's extremely relatable. And I'll say, so you draw the, cross, and then each box, add, multiply, divide, subtract. And I want you to put the people in your life where they fit.
Nice.
Do they add to your life? You don't have to list it. I think the exercise could go a little bit further than that, but what do they add to your life? The ones who divide, who constantly bringing, splitting, very, very divisive. How about the ones that take away, who are leeching, mooching off of you all the time, just taking they drain your energy. When you leave their presence, you're like, they take everything away from you. They don't add anything, or if they add anything, it's very, very little.
Another one, I have to ask, how do you overcome your fears? Because you're always so confident, you're always so strength. I've known you for years, and you just seem to just go and like, oh, the click them, and you just go on. Like, how do you overcome your fears?
There's a few things that are helpful. First one is through prayer, because I can carry a lot of anxiety at times. I don't think people always see that. People say, you're always so confident. Oh, I'm freaking out on the inside. Well, before I got here, I was freaking out. Okay. So I deal with a lot of anxiety. So what I have to do is I have to pray. I find scriptures that help to ground me. Be anxious for nothing, but through prayer, and supplication, make your requests known to God. So I have to remind myself of the word of those words. The second thing that I do is, and a mentor of mine told me, she said, do it scared. I'm scared to do it scared. You're scared, but you still need to do it. Knees, hands shaking, voice shaking, do it anyway. Still do it. Do it scared. But what I've learned is that builds confidence. You do it scared, and then you're like, check, got it done, right? Got that done, accomplished. It may not have necessarily been the best, but get it done. Google has a mantra, done is better than perfect.
Oh, done is better than perfect. I like that.
So when I saw that, I was like, because so many times, oh, it's got to be perfect. Okay, get it together and then go ahead and do it. If you got to do it again, then you can perfect it. Then you go back and you debrief on it, you analyze it, you break it down, what worked well, what didn't work well. And then the next time you do it, whether it's a speaking engagement, you're teaching, you're making something, you're creating something, you're designing something, you go ahead and you do it to the best of your ability at that time. And then if you got to do it again, then you do it a little bit better. But done is better than perfect. Get it done.
That is great.
And that means doing it afraid, then going back, evaluating it. So yeah, I was like, if Google can have that,
we definitely can.
If Google can say that, exactly. And so I use that when I'm talking to people, because sometimes, especially in the entrepreneurial space, people will say, well, I'm still trying to get such and such together. No, that you have right now, this product, whatever that is, go with that. And you will perfect that over time. Stop waiting for this to be perfect And then you will get to the place of where you want it to be eventually. But otherwise, if you just say, when I get it just so, then I'm going to launch it. When I get it just right, then I'm going to release it. And then what if that doesn't ever come?
Mm-hmm.
What if that doesn't happen? Then what do you do?
Right. You don't.
And then you got all these materials and things that you that you've accumulated. You wait for it to be perfect, and you never get accomplishing.
Yes. I'm glad that the camera can't see around me, because I'm in that space where I have this perfectionism thing, and it's really, it's paralysis analysis for me. It's so, I want to look so, and then I don't get nothing done. And I'm like, I have to thank you for that. Then I have to shed that and say, just put it out there. You're right. And do it afraid. Because this is my afraid. Being on camera is not my thing, but you have to evolve and grow. So I'm doing it afraid.
You do.
I hope it doesn't
so
show.
Those are two things that I do. Yeah. Is pray about it, and then I do it afraid. And there are just so many things that can be so intimidating, walking into new spaces can be extremely intimidating, especially if you don't know of anyone who can introduce you to that space, or someone who's gone before you that can help you to feel comfortable going into that new arena. It can be very intimidating, or you're the only one that looks like you. You're the only one in your family who's ever done this thing. And there was nobody in my family that ever went on to get a master's degree. I had to rely on coworkers to help guide me and explaining to me what it would look like and how to get through it. Because I didn't have access to anyone. When I think about some of the women who were in our lives, like who's passed away, is Betty Price and a few others who had obtained this type of educational status, but a lot of those women are gone. So I had to just step out on faith and do the best that I can.
That's right.
So those would be my words of encouragement for.
I have lived my life.
What do you do when you're afraid?
Will move mountains. All my life I've been heard that faith of a mustard seed will move mountains. I've always heard that. And it doesn't really kick in until about your 30-ishes or your 30-ish, 40-ishes. It finally starts to kick in like, this is what they were talking about. It takes
I don't have to have big faith.
Right.
I don't have to have big faith. No. Just little. And one time in one of our services, one of the ministers talked about faith of a mustard seed. And she brought in mustard seeds and gave everyone a couple of them in a bag, and just a little tiny bag. You could barely see it. Have you ever seen a mustard seed?
They're tiny, tiny, tiny. Get underneath your fingernails, are so small.
Tiny, tiny, tiny. And she had the ushers passing them out. And I'm like, that's all I gotta have? Because it's small.
I can do that. Okay, my last one, I think it's all my favorite one. What is your favorite quote and why?
I am a fanatic about quotes. Can I just say? I've got quotes written on, and I keep index cards nearby because I like quotes. I save them on my phone. And you want me to give you one?
Yeah, you can give me more than one. Give me your top 5 or your top 4 that really get you through, that you look at a lot, or that you go to a lot to just get you through that little piece.
Okay, so done is better than perfect would be one of them. Other would be do it afraid, and watch what you say. I would probably say that would be another quote is watch what you say. You have what you say. That life and death are in the power of the tongue. Here's one that I found recently. Don't wait for things to get better. Life will always be complicated. Learn to be happy right now. Otherwise, you'll run out of time.
That's very important right now. Extremely. It's always important, but lately what's going on, that is definitely. Are there any projects that you're currently working on that you'd like the audience to keep an eye out for?
Waist Beads by Cardethia will start promoting again for the summer season of 2023, with new items, new waist beads, new bracelets, new necklace designs as well. In addition, what I'm working on is doing more consulting work. My formal training is as a social worker. I am a licensed clinical social worker. And so I am looking to do more consulting work with agencies, individuals, workshop facilitation, trainings, brainstorming, those kinds of things, come in and help organizations in some type of way as a consultant. So I'm looking to build on that more in 2023. I did a little bit of it this year, but I'm looking to do more and using the knowledge and the experience that I have to be an asset to companies, school systems, districts, nonprofits, for-profits. I'm here for it. So, and then the other thing that I'm working on is the next step in my licensure. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I'm looking to become a licensed independent clinical social worker and eventually at some point in time launch a private practice. But that's
Go ahead.
That's a little bit ways away. I thought I was going to be able to wrap it up this year, but life was doing what it does. And so it didn't get wrapped up, and I was going to start to feel down about it. I'm like, it is what it is, sis. Let it go and keep trying to put one foot in front of the other. Take care of the important things first. Not that that's not important, but it's not the most important thing. So I will wrap it up early next year and go on. So those are the main things that I'm working on right now.
Thank you. And you're right. Don't get upset if it gives you delay. It took me 32 years to get my BA, and I started at 18 like most folks, but life kicked in a whole bunch. It kicked in so hard, and I kept going a little bit. One class here, two classes there, one class there. It kicked in, but I finally got it. So you're right.
But you got it done. Exactly. And kudos to you for that. You got it done. Right. That's right. Done is better than perfect.
Done is better than perfect. I got it done. Thank you so much for spending time with us today. I am so honored that you are here. I love your soul. You're such a wonderful person. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much for having me. It's really been an honor and to be asked to be a part of Let's Talk Tuesday.
Yes.
Let's Talk Tuesday. Yeah, it's absolutely an honor, and hopefully I've said something that resonated with someone.
You said a lot today that resonated with me. So I've got a few tasks to do when I'm done here and get myself ready for 2023.
Let's get ready, sis. Let's go get it.
Let's do it. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.